This little bin is basically my childhood. It has all the mini-DV tapes that I shot my first short films on from 6th grade all the way through high school. And I wanted to see something. Can I, as a 33-year-old professional editor, take one of my old short films and re-edit it to be better than it was? Dare I say, even stand up to the test of time today? Because I guarantee you, most of these should never see the light of day.
Oh, that was the feel of a boomerang up your fudge hole.
I'm going to use all of the skills, techniques, modern technological AI-based advancements out there to try to take this old crap and turn it into something decent. Plug a FireWire cable into the camera, FireWire to Thunderbolt 2 adapter, Thunderbolt 2 to Thunderbolt 3 adapter, open up QuickTime on the computer, hit play on the camera, hit record and QuickTime, and now we can record whatever the camera plays. Like this. Nothing embarrassing about that. Pretty badass, I think. Let's try a new tape though. Alright, and I found a better tape and I found a better film, and I've imported the original film in its entirety as well as the raw footage. That was so cool looking. Go ahead. I think horror is going to be the best genre to work in because it's going to give us the most opportunities to sex it up in the edit. Alright, so I've created a project and I've imported the footage. I've got the original film here, which has some copyrighted music, so I can't play the whole thing for you here. I'll put it on my Patreon if you're interested in signing up for that. But the basic story is it's 2.5 minutes long. A guy comes home, the door's unlocked, somebody seems to be wandering around in his house. He checks it out, there's creepy music, he goes in, his friend or his brother, I don't know who this guy is, is supposed to be, but then he turns around and there's an Eminem poster behind him, but more importantly, his friend is dead, he's been shot in the back, he runs back and there's a rocking chair rocking, and that's the story. First thing I want to do is actually select both of these, right click and go to Scene Edit Detection, because this import of the footage has all of the cuts just baked in. So if we apply a cut at each detected cut point, hit Analyze, it's going to cut the clips up for me, which is going to make it a lot easier to tell when one shot ends and another begins, and start making my selects. So we got one shot. If there's multiple takes, I'll take this takes that I liked and move them up to track 2 like this, which you can do just by selecting it and hitting Option up arrow or Alt up arrow if you're on a PC. So we have a 2-minute 10-second story edit. Starting to have my doubts about whether or not this is going to be even watchable. It's definitely not the strongest opening, so maybe there's something that could be done here. You know, I could go find some stock footage from like the hood of the car just driving at night. All right, let's try Artlist's night driving hood. Perfect, let's get this one. Look, they even have suggested sound effects for this. And you know what? I'll take it. Let's just take them all. And we know we're gonna need music, so let's do it by mood, and we'll do scary, of course. Let's just see what comes up first. That's a good one. And the great thing about Artlist, when you're searching for a song, if you find one that's kind of close but not quite right, you can just search for similar songs, and boom, you get a bunch right off the bat. So a very powerful search feature. Let's insert this into the edit. And dissolve from this shot into this shot. So I'm just throwing in the Artlist sound effects that were suggested for this opening clip. I'm just gonna put them all in. And we should probably title this something like, you know, let's call it ajar, because the door's ajar when he comes home. You ever hear that joke? When is a door not a door? When it's ajar. And let's see what that does.
Thanks for the ride.
I mean, already infinitely more watchable than it was. So I think I need to lose the music by the time he opens the door because it's doing too much. Let's dip the music out. Let's get real quiet. That'll draw the viewer in subconsciously to this moment where the door opens. And it's a subtle moment, so by having the music disappear and by adding a bunch of sound design there, we're going to draw the viewer's ear and mind towards this moment of, ooh, the door was open. We go to Artlist sound effects, we type door, creak. Let's see what we got. Looking for more of a high-pitched door open sound effect. Car door sound effect. Car approach stop. Good. We got some sound effects to start with. I think we need to probably lose most of the original audio because it's very noisy. You can hear the AC, all kinds of things going on. I want to get the car engine sounds because that's not going to last long enough. I can tell you that. So we'll just hold Option and drag to create a duplicate of it. Do it one more time. Then I'll shorten it. I'll bring it up, and then I'll create a cross dissolve. So we'll dissolve from the idle into the car back and away, and hopefully it works out. That's the car door closing. Let's grab that. And I do really like the crickets, but I don't like the ones that we have baked into the audio just because it's all kind of cruddy and it's all going to jump around too much with each camera cut. So we're going to add our own crickets. Perfect. Should we do an owl? Do I dare do an owl? Why not? That's what I asked for. If it's too cartoony, I'll leave it out. All right, it's a new day. I've switched from beer to Red Bull, and I've made a lot of progress on the sound design. I went ahead and, as you can see here, cleaned it up a lot, got the color coding going on. So we have our production audio at the top. We have our sound effects in this greenish color. We have our ambience sound effects in this magenta. And then we have the one music track I've got so far in yellow. And you'll also notice I've added a lot more sound effects, a lot more ambience, and it's really starting to come to life. With the door dinging. Little details like that add a lot. Got some footsteps in there. Dog barking in the distance. And the music is doing a lot of lifting to set the tone too. You can see how much production value good sound can add, even to horrific footage like this. I'm also gonna need some creepy sound effects just in general. There's a lot of little scary moments where a silhouetted figure walks by frame somewhere, and we need some good sound effects for that. So let's just type creepy whoosh. Maybe something will come up there. Ooh, I like that one. Sometimes a little less is more. I do need that grandfather clock now that I think about it. Got the ticking clock. All right, so we have one scary moment of the guy lurking in the house, but then we have this one where he crosses frame, and I want to do a whoosh here. But I want to try for this video using a new tool that I've been playing around with called Krotos Studio. And the way this works is a little different. You can get sounds generated custom just by playing around with the sliders that they have here. So for example, and they have different presets here, but if I did this hybrid one and I wanted it to sound sort of like air, I could go and it pans left to right with my mouse. Or if I wanted to sound more like cloth, which works great for the sound of a person going from right to left on the screen. So I kind of want it to sound between cloth and air, right? So if I'm going this direction, all you got to do is drag your recording into the editing program. Now I have that on here. Not bad at all. But I do need a good track for the ending, the climax, so I went back to Artlist, pulled a few options, and the reason that as an editor I just keep coming back to Artlist is they have the best library of music. They got some actually really catchy songs that sound like real music, doesn't sound like stock music like you hear on so many other libraries. Got a ton of sound effects too, it's a great resource, and I like to get the Artlist Max plan, which gives you access to everything. It gives you their music, sound effects, their stock footage, which is excellent, Premiere presets and templates. Basically basically a one-stop shop. Very cost-effective if you think you're going to be editing multiple projects throughout the year. And their license covers basically everything you would ever need. And if you don't want to be putting stuff out there commercially, like for example for professional clients that you're working for as an editor, then you can get their social plans, which allow you to put any of their stuff on any of your socials for a lower price. All right, gonna finesse this ending and then we're done with music. And if you're interested in Artlist, you'll get 2 months free on any annual plan with the link in my description, or just scan this QR code here. Thank you, Artlist, for sponsoring this video. Now let's finish this film. Yes. I wanna make this a little bigger, a little more sudden. I kinda wanna see what the other track sounds like before I commit to this. And let's just go ahead and change the color of these to yellow. I wonder what would happen if I stacked them. Probably just gonna sound like a mess, but pretty cool. What about the other one? Look at that! Incredible, we used all 3 tracks. Works great. All right, so the music's done, sound effects are all in. Only thing that's left is to clean up our production dialogue. Unfortunately, there's only a few lines of dialogue in this whole short film. And even more fortunately, we today have the benefits of artificial intelligence, which means I'm gonna make it sound way better than I was able to make it sound on iMovie in 2006 or whenever I made this thing. So here's how you do it. I've got these lines of dialogue. Oh, man. Let's export this. I'll hit Command M. This is going to be waveform audio export. Should only take a second. Should only take a second, and it's done. And we'll go to podcast.adobe.com/enhance. This is a free tool. It could not be easier. It's just drag and drop. So I'm going to take my raw audio, drop it in, and then I'm just gonna let it go to work. And this thing isn't always perfect, but it is often amazingly good. Okay, it's done. We'll drag this into the project. So let's hear what we ended up with.
Oh man, forgot you were home.
It's actually not great. This is one of the worst results that I've gotten from this so far, but we should still be able to layer it on top of the original like we're doing here. And if we play them both together, I think it's gonna sound a lot better than the original did.
Oh man, forgot you were home. Oh man, forgot you were home.
Sounds much fuller, right? All right, and with that, we're done with audio, and I'm back on beer, which means we're gonna pick this up tomorrow morning, starting with cleaning up the video. All right, it's a new day. I'm back on Red Bull, and we are going to clean up this first shot and make it look like the other shots of this movie. So how do we degrade this footage so it looks like miniDV camcorder? Fortunately, sponsor of this video, Artlist, is here to the rescue again. VHS effects, look at this. All right, so the whole shot's looking a lot darker, a lot lower quality, and I think it's gonna blend in pretty well. I think we are done with the basic edit. I'm just gonna select everything, export this as a ProRes. We could go ahead and say we're done, but there's one thing I wanna try, which is this tool called Topaz Video AI, and it's basically a AI video up-res thing that will take our crappy footage and, in theory, make it look nice in HD. But we'll see if the technology is really there yet. Let's set the output to 1080p, and we'll just ramp this up to 100. And we can see the result side by side here, and actually it does look very clean. It's gotten rid of all the noise, sharpened up some of these lines, smoothed everything out a lot. It looks pretty good. Actually, the detail on my hat looks pretty good. If we zoom in, you can almost read it in the AI version. That's crazy. All right, let's try something else. Let's do it on manual, and let's just bump these up a lot. That's wild. Look at the face. This piece of paper suddenly got a lot sharper. Again, it almost feels like you can read it. That's amazing. It does seem like the more lit the shot is, the better this works. I think if you really wanted to use this tool properly, you would have to go shot by shot and dial in the settings for every single shot. And then all those darker, out of focus shots probably are never gonna look that great anyways, but you can see where the technology's going. I think eventually you're gonna be able to take some pretty crappy footage and salvage it in amazing ways. And that should be it. That's the end of me re-editing and remastering 16-year-old me's short film. Let's see how I did.
Hey
Thanks for the ride.
Oh man, forgot you were home. Passed out in front of the TV again. God, at least shut your blinds, man.
Not all that bad. I'm actually surprised. I think this just goes to show you that the camera really isn't the most important thing when you're making a film, which I say a lot on this channel. Just cleaning up the audio and putting that extra effort and attention, I mean, I basically redid the audio from scratch on this thing, added so much production value, made it so much more engaging than it was in the original version. And if you want to see the super extended version of me editing this thing and doing all the sound design, check that out on the Patreon. It'll be uploaded there very soon. See you all next time.